Okay, here's the big one. There's a big chance that PSG will announce the signing of Zinedine Zidane once the current campaign draws to a conclusion. The move, should it happen, would be a real game changer for the runaway league leaders, who are unlikely to say goodbye to their current manager, Mauricio Pochettino. Ronaldo was less than impressed when Ralf Rangnick decided to bring him off during the 3-1 win over Brentford. Was it justified? Apparently, Real Madrid have given an ultimatum to Kylian Mbappe as the forward continues to stay mum about his long-term future. An Arsenal legend is all set to become the new manager of Bordeaux. Who could it be? There's a surprising new destination for Luis Suarez, which could make your jaw drop. Before we get started, we want to share the sponsor of today's video. The OneFootball app is the ultimate football platform and is a must-have for every football fan, so that you can follow all of your favourite leagues, teams and players all the time right from your phone. You can be sure to turn on notifications for specific players to be instantly alerted when they score a goal or when they're involved in other breaking news. It is the best and easiest way to stay up to date with everything football. Click the link in the description down below to download the app right now. You won't regret it. In conflict with Diego Simeone and in less good shape this season, Luis Suarez could well take advantage of Aston Villa's interest in him to reunite with Steven Gerrard, his former teammate at Liverpool. Is the love story between Luis Suarez and Atletico Madrid coming to an end? The Uruguayan is no longer really the main man at the club. Though he was one of the great architects of the title triumph last May in his first season with the Colchoneros, the striker is starting to annoy some people, in particular Diego Simeone, whom he did not hesitate to insult upon being subbed off against Sevilla in December. The relationship between the two men is particularly tense. In addition to questionable behaviour, the form of the 34-year-old player has also been questionable. With 8 goals in 26 matches, Suarez is gradually losing his efficiency and his influence in the team, where competition in attack is raging between the presence of Griezmann, Cunha, Correa or even Joao Felix. Inevitably faced with this situation, the future of the former Barca man is in question. And that's good, because a great opportunity has arrived. Spanish media claims that after having managed to convince Philippe Coutinho to come and resurrect his career, Aston Villa now want to attract Luis Suarez. It is still quite a coup attempted by his former teammate in Liverpool, a certain Steven Gerrard, now the coach of the Villains. They're doing quite well under the legendary Liverpool midfielder, and even though Suarez has a lot of options to go back to in South America, perhaps one last season in the Premier League might be too good of an opportunity to turn down. With Vladimir Petkovic pretty much a goner, Bordeaux need to find a capable replacement. After having thanked Jean-Louis Gasset last July, the new owner of the Girondins de Bordeaux, Gerard Lopez, arrived at the club looking to revive it. And to do this, the former Lille boss decided to trust Vladimir Petkovic, who arrived on the bench last summer after helping Switzerland to reach the quarter-finals of Euro 2020 at the expense of France. Nevertheless, after 6 months in office, the situation of the club is becoming more and more chaotic. Bordeaux are fighting for survival and have already been eliminated from the Coupe de France after losing to Brest 3-0. The first half of the season does not meet the expectations of the owner, who could wield the axe as we speak. And it appears that Lopez favours a move for Thierry Henry. The legendary Arsenal man is also eager to become a manager of a club. However, the club has been very quiet about what it wants to do in the coming days, so fingers crossed. To be honest, we're not too sure about it. Henry doesn't really have a great CV as a manager. This would only be his 3rd ever managerial job, and the Bordeaux conundrum is such that they can't afford to hire an inexperienced manager who may or may not help them survive the drop. What if Mbappe was still a PSG player next summer ahead of the new Ligue 1 season? This is a possibility that seems to be gaining more and more momentum, since the Parisians would be ready to sign a short-term contract with their star performer so that he stays 1 or 2 more years, or with a gentleman's agreement so that he can leave at the end of his new contract or during his deal for a lesser amount. Anyway, on the side of Real Madrid, it's been quite calm in recent days in the face of this new information, even though the last PSG proposal almost doubled the salary that Florentino Perez is ready to offer him. But now ABC Deportes reveals a scoop, which probably means that the people of Madrid are no longer so quiet. The newspaper specifies that the Spanish club was very clear with Mbappe. It is now or never. If the French striker does not sign this summer, Real Madrid will not try to recruit him in the future. In the event of signing a new contact in Paris, even for a short period, or with conditions facilitating a fairly quick departure, Mbappe will never wear the Madrid jersey. It remains to be seen how the player will react, while the Iberian media has also unveiled an important new element in this soap opera. In the event of signing for Madrid, the youngster will receive 50% of the income linked to merchandising and his image rights, which remains quite rare at Madrid since the club usually collect everything, and which has only been reserved for a special few stars like Cristiano Ronaldo, and which, for the Frenchman, will also make it possible to compensate for the mammoth deal that PSG have on offer. So Manchester United eventually registered a comprehensive win over Brentford. While the Red Devils had pretty much won the game a few minutes earlier, Ralf Rangnick decided to inject new blood, and the German manager chose to recall Cristiano Ronaldo, who was replaced by Harry Maguire. But the veteran forward didn't like it at all, and didn't hesitate to let his feelings known. He openly showed his displeasure by joining the bench, throwing the club's jacket on the ground before going to sit down alone, staring into space. A new issue that the club could probably have done well without. But hey, at least the two men made up and United got all 3 points. Bruno Fernandes bagged a couple of assists and Marcus Rashford managed to find the net for the first time in what seems like an eternity. Ronaldo also had a big hand in the second goal, but overall, he wasn't at his usual best. Moreover, we can't ignore the performance of the young winger Anthony Elanga, who was thrown in at the deep end and carried himself admirably and even opened the scoring. Scott McTominay was in sensational form as well, while Victor Lindelöf and Raphael Varane seemed to be developing quite a bond. At the same time, David De Gea helped the cause, especially in the first half when Brentford were really taking the game to the visitors. But more than all this, United actually played like a team this time around, so the notion that they seem to struggle with Ronaldo on the pitch seems a bit redundant. It will only be a matter of time. Presented as the priority of the PSG leaders as the next manager, Zinedine Zidane should succeed Mauricio Pochettino on the Parisian bench, at the latest at the end of the season, according to a Qatari journalist. For several weeks, the name of the former French playmaker has been insistently linked with the residents of Parc des Princes to replace the Argentine coach. But despite disappointing performances since his appointment in January 2021, Pochettino is still at the helm of the capital club. For how much longer? If his contract runs until June 2023, he should not go beyond the current campaign. The former Tottenham man is not ticking all the boxes for the Parisian management and is still linked with a move to Man United, who had thought of him to take over from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who was dismissed at the end of November. A return to England would open the door wide for the arrival of Zinedine Zidane. It no longer even seems to be in doubt in Qatar. Zidane is on the verge of joining Paris Saint-Germain, maybe even before June, Qatari journalist Mohamed Al-Kabi wrote on his Twitter account, referring to a possible signing before the end of the season, although this scenario seems a bit unlikely. Out of work since leaving Madrid last May, Zidane has expressed his interest in returning to management. He's reportedly happy with what the Liga and Giants want to achieve, but is not going to rush into things. And while Leonardo has thrown Pochettino his full support, things can change very quickly. PSG are set to take on Real Madrid in the Champions League round of 16, and if the Parisians end up crashing out of the competition, it might even spell the end of Pochettino's time at the club. Although PSG are likely to win the Liga and this time around, domestic success is no longer seen as the defining point for the club. They've been desperate for Champions League success and believe that they have invested well in players who can make that dream come true. And maybe it's Zinedine Zidane who will be the final piece of the puzzle that ensures PSG to become only the second French team ever to win the ultimate trophy in European football.